Hi there. Hey Mo. Hey Johns.
Hey guys, nice to see everyone here. Hey Millie, that's you as well. Yep, Millie's here as well. Nice.
You mean Mia White?
She's starting to use pseudonyms now, Johns. She's learning from you.
So how are you doing today? I saw. So first of all, welcome everyone to this Bitcoin community, Bitcoin design community call. This is our call number 38. We have it every 3 weeks, so it goes back. How much is that? 38 times 3 weeks, 114 weeks. That's a little over 2 years now. So thanks for tuning in all. And as you may have seen in the title, the big topic is the Designathon that's being launched. But I was actually wondering, and it's awesome that Stephen here is just joined. I'm gonna invite him up to the stage right away because Stephen just finished a website and it's live now. And maybe Stephen wants to talk about it.
Full transparency, I was just connecting my AirPods there and it, cut off there. All I heard was Steven wants to talk about it.
Okay, yeah. So you just launched a website, and I haven't said anything about it. Just keep the suspense, allow you to tell the story. And I was wondering if you would like to.
Yeah, sure. We haven't done our cool intro like tweet thread for it, but we're already here with a bunch of people listening, so there's no time like the present. Yeah, so it's a project we've been working on in the design community called Win Taproot. Um, and it's Merch and Steve Lee and Ken and Jesse and many others have contributed to this project. And Christoph and Doc Sharp have provided a lot of feedback along the way. The basic gist of the website is it's wintaproot.org. And the basic gist is that we're trying to encourage Taproot adoption among Bitcoin projects. And that's kind of a complicated topic, but I break it down real simply. Taproot is this feature that launched that was soft fork activated into Bitcoin in November of last year, and some wallet projects and exchanges have adopted it, others haven't. And you kind of, in order for the ecosystem at large to be able to really start building cool new features using Taproot. The very first step is that we need to be able to get broad support for being able to send to this new address format. So you have a Bitcoin wallet, you make an address to receive something. Chances are it begins with BC1Q. That's a lot of addresses now begin with that. The new Taproot address format is called BEC32M. It's going to begin with BC1P. And so all we're really trying to do is just see, which projects will support sending to these new types of addresses and which won't. And so this website kind of outlines, which projects still need to catch up in that regard, and also provides some useful tips on how to integrate that into your code base. So yeah, it was a fun project to work on. Got to do a lot of fun illustration work for that. Go check it out. It's wintaproot.org, WHENTAPROOT.org. And if you're kind of like new, interested in getting involved in open source and not sure where to start, these kinds of initiatives are a cool way of doing that. Like if you see a project like a wallet or an exchange or some other service that you use, and you don't see it on the list on the website, you can actually test it and we have some instructions on there. You can test like your favorite exchange, for instance, to see if they will support this Taproot address format. And if they do or they don't, you can let us know, and then we can get updated on the website. So testing, features and opening issues and stuff like this is a real kind of easy way to get involved in open source Bitcoin if you're interested. So I'll cut my rambling off there. Just go to wintaproot.org.
Great summary. And I just wanted to add something to make sure, also from my understanding, so Taproot is a technical update, and it enables, I'm looking at the website here, lighter, more private multi-sig. So you can't tell anymore what's a multi-sig, what's a single-sig transaction. And you can replace lost keys in multi-sigs. Then it's cheaper slightly because it compresses a little bit better, I think. And then I think another thing is that Taro, which also apparently just in the last hour or so released a alpha version of their daemon, it also requires Taproot, because I believe Taproot enables kind of arbitrary data storage in transactions, and that's what required to make Taro happen. So it's kind of essential to in a few ways, and would be super cool if that got adopted broadly, quickly. Did I summarize those benefits properly?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think I'd have anything really else to add to that.
Awesome. Cool. So how about we hop on to the main topic of the day, the Designathon. Does anyone else here have any other topics they want to talk about? It is a community call. So if you'd like to suggest a topic, we can also squeeze that in. Just raise your hand or so, now or later. All good. The Designathon. So a little bit of background. Well, let's start it straightforward. It's happening October 12 to 23. So about 12 days time set aside for just kind of like a hackathon, but just do design related things. There are some projects already. One of them is around Bitcoin AI art. Another one is looking into Taro. Another one's around inheritance. So all kinds of ideas can be explored. People can code if they want to, but primarily it's about doing design exploration, like design sprints or mock-ups, or just kind of understanding certain things and trying to come up with improvements or so, or even contributing to existing projects. And if you go to event.bitcoin.design, that is, there's a tweet pinned here at the top. You should find a link there as well. And for some background, the idea for that has been floating around in the community for a year and a half or so, and then we finally decided to do it 2 months ago or so. And now we're just 2 weeks away, so it's pretty cool. And the website is pretty much ready to go. You can register, you can submit ideas for projects, you can join. Something that's not on there yet, we need to complete our schedule a bit further. There will also be prizes. We got some really awesome sponsors. Those are also not on the website yet, but pretty much everything else is. So it's at event.bitcoin.design. And there's also, it starts on October 12th, which is also the date that a bunch of other things start. So there's TapConf happening, which Stephen here is also an organizer of. Then there's Bitcoin Amsterdam happen, and I know a few people will go there, so happy to meet up. And then there's also a really big, an even bigger hackathon happening, the Bolt Fun tournament, the Legends of Lightning. And that one is at bolt.fun. You should be able to get it from there. John's is an organizer there, and he can also tell us all about it. But that's basically a 2-month tournament. So there's all kinds of stuff going on. So I think it's a really good time to set aside a little bit of time, think of some ideas, think about projects to work on, because a lot of people will be in the mode where they're just ready to hack on things, whether it's design or code or just kind of learning about different ideas, or like the Bitcoin AI art. It's a nice one where people can just get together and try out these different tools and maybe come up with some illustrations or just kind of freely explore, and gives us time a little bit to forget about the day-to-day and just kind of follow our creative instincts. Johns, do you want to talk a little bit about the Bolt Fun and how that all ties in, and maybe the history of the design community and Bolt Fun, or whatever you'd like to chat about there?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Thanks, Christoph. And yeah, congrats, Stephen, as well on the Win Taproot. I've been following that one along for a while now, so nice to see it's gone out. Yeah, bold fun. Well, Bitcoin kind of has this history of being kind of a or at least there's this narrative that like things are boring and they move slow on Bitcoin, and um it's difficult to develop, it's difficult to make things on it. So what I wanted to do was kind of like bridge both designers and developers, bring them together to be able to work on like some cool experimental or just fun things, right? And create like a environment that's friendly and fun and encourages exploration and innovation. So that's how the Bold Fun project came about. Um, at first, it was just like a research dump. So I was doing some design research, and I'm just like dumping all my notes and stuff onto a fork of the Bitcoin Design Guide, using it as the template to just like dump in some uh, uh, just notes and design sketches and whatnot. I had a few people helping me out with that, and as well. And then yeah, now it's this whole platform with events and stuff going on. We got some support from Fulgur Ventures. They're also aligned with us in um, trying to get more innovation happening in the space, and like exciting developers and designers and all other classes of like all of the like roles. So yeah, we got about 3 Bitcoin in prizes, which is crazy. And we really want to support design as well throughout this, because we need to have good quality stuff, like and designers um having a say in these hackathons. I think it's something that's not very typical, and with the Designathon especially, event that is catered specifically to designers. I hope that can kind of like set a template for folks in the industry to kind of like follow. Because it's I think designers are typically quite underserved in these kinds of events. But I don't know where else you want to take it, Christoph. Like you and Mo have been organizing a lot of this. Like, what's exciting you about this project? Is it fun?
Well, the last 2 3 weeks, and Mo can also talk about it, has just insane amount of organizing. But I'm sure with Bold Fun and Stephen with TapConf, you're it's even more intense for you. Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I'm just excited to see what happens when you give people kind of a free space to just kind of be creative. Because I do think sometimes we're too tied to the things that the world kind of presents to us. So I'm excited for just kind of free form, pure creation. Just see, because I bet there are so many ideas people have that they just never get around to. But that if you give them the time, if you give them a little bit of focus, if you get a few people together and pull out the best of these ideas and shape them, we'll get some really cool results. I'm personally I signed up to lead the Taro team, which I don't know a lot about. But this is for me. This is one of the things where I want to peek in the future a little bit. It seems like this is coming. It seems like it will bring big changes. I don't really know how it works, but why not just kind of try to figure it out and just visualize it and come up with some concept designs and prototypes and just kind of see what happened. On this, at the same time, I'm interested in the Bitcoin AI art because that just seems really playful to mess with DALI and Stable Diffusion and all these tools out there. So those are the cons. But my role is also to help out and just kind of connect people and with projects and help them set up projects and organize calls and design jam sessions. So big part of my role will be just to help everyone else out. And then I think I've said it before. Some of my satisfaction will be just seeing other people have a good time and and design things together. Yeah. So Mo, you've also been spend a lot of time organizing this thing. What do, what would you like to add?
Firstly, just gonna say take my hat off to anyone who organizes a hackathon or a designathon. The amount of planning that goes into it is mind-boggling, but it's fun. I've been working with Christoph and I've been really enjoying the whole learning process around organizing a designathon. I think that it's something that quite a few people in the community are very, very keen on. I think it's an opportunity for them to have that creative freedom to just, work on those ideas that they've had in their minds, and as Christoph said, take them a little bit away from their everyday lives, just get them to, yeah, let their hair down a bit, have fun, and design. So I think it's going to be good. I'm also helping with the organization. I'm keen to see what kind of project ideas come up. We've had an idea come up around inclusion. Um, we've got someone who's just jumped into the BTC Pay team today. So yeah, there's a lot of cool projects. Personally, I've not actually decided which project I'm going to be working on because there's so many nice projects. I might actually start something specifically focused around UX research. There's nothing around that at the moment. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing what comes up and what happens and how it ties in with Bold Fun as well, because I think there's a couple of guys who want to maybe develop some stuff on Bold Fun, and maybe we can do the design sprint in the hackathon itself, in the designathon, and then carry that over into Bold Fun. So curious from John's which kind of projects have come up in the Legends of Lightning that you guys are pretty keen on seeing. I know you've got quite a lot of projects that have been posted in the stories, so I'm curious what you guys are looking forward to see and what's exciting you at the moment.
Yeah, well, yeah, we had a couple projects submitted to the stories thing, and just for context, everyone, so part of the tool set that we started building around this event, community, all this kind of thing, is one, a platform that will help people kind of like find each other with like matchmaking when they attend an event. Um, and then the other one is like kind of like a community blog. Basically, everyone could write a little story, ask a question, and those kind of things. So there, people are kind of posting up some of their ideas and stuff for the event. I think one of them is a mobile app for like um, authentication using Bitcoin and Lightning keys. Um, there's also some stuff around like it's kind of interesting to see. It's this kind of like DeFi, like swapping services and stuff like that. LN Swap, I think it's called, swap providers and all this, and um, yield something. Some people want to do some stuff around like turning any email address into a Lightning address. So that's interesting. I think there's one about like something about advertising as well, like like replacing ads on websites with like Lightning based like ads that pay you back. So like I guess they'll swap out the existing ads that you see, get a different set of publishers, and those publishers like pay you to see the ads. Not really sure, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's to, like whatever people want to make. I think it's a good time for the industry in general to just like, as Christoph said, just step out of themselves a little bit and start innovating, putting this technology to use to the full degree that it can be, and really start making some innovative things, more innovative things.
Yeah, it doesn't actually have to be innovative either. It could be also just improving existing open source project. And I think that the login thing that you just mentioned, that's actually an existing project. and they just want to build an app for it. And the idea is that it's a open source, easy to install authentication server based on LN URL auth, and they want to build, and it supports WebLN too. So it's basically like plug and play library for the Lightning-based authentication. That's pretty cool, and looks like they want to build an app for it in the tournament. So this could be a thing where, let's say, during the Designathon, the team just goes through a design sprint and comes up with the visual design and prototype for it, and then they could move on to the tournament and then just build it out. It might be a cool thing.
Exactly, that's a great example of one, because I've been speaking with Dodo over these months, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I don't really have like design expertise, and he's mostly like a back end dev. So like, yeah, this would be a fantastic project if you want to learn about like, designing something. It's not necessarily a wallet in a way, but it is like a kind of like a key signing kind of application, like keychain. It's like a keychain basically. In the sense that it's literally keeping these key pairs for different websites and stuff. So I think that could be a cool project to work on.
And I have to take something back that I just said. I said something about it doesn't have to be innovative. All of this stuff is actually really innovative. I just feel like I'm just used to it because I first used it 6 months ago. So it's like, nothing new anymore. But all of this stuff, I mean, it's all really innovative. It's really cool to see. Hats off. I was actually just looking at Zero Login earlier today. I was just kind of wondering if we should start kind of a mini redesign project. I didn't even know that there was submitted as a tournament project.
And speaking of redesign, we have Pav here also from BTC Pay Server. If anyone's a big fan of BTC Pay Server, they have a project as well, which you can work on in the Designathon. That's going to be, correct me if I say anything wrong, Pav, that's going to be a redesign of the directory page, if I'm saying it correctly. So you have full design and creative freedom to redesign, a home page, a submission page, and a single merchant page. And that's one of the projects that's already active at the moment. So you can just pretty much hop into the Slack group and get going even before the Designathon begins.
So are there like teams being formed around these different ideas and stuff? Like what's the idea? Like what's the strategy and the idea there? Like what happens? Because I heard like multiple teams mentioned so far.
Yeah, so the way it works is that so we have 2 weeks to go. So the first thing we did was gather a whole bunch of ideas. And on event.bitcoin.design, you can see all of those ideas. And so sometimes it can be your idea and you want to do a project around it, but you don't have to. Maybe you just put it out there because you want someone to solve this design problem or do something about it. Like Gene, I think he submitted like 6 or 7 different ideas. And then anyone can click on those ideas on the website and turn them into a project. So they create a project around it, and those also get listed on the website. And then we set up they give it a project name, and they maybe add a little bit of detail around how they want to work, if they're looking for people to join them, what type of skill sets they're looking for. This is a pretty loose event. So if someone wants to run a really tight design sprint and spend 10 hours a day on it, totally fine. If somebody has a busy schedule and just kind of spends a few hours in the evening or on the weekend, that's totally cool too. So the project description is a bit of an outline and maybe some resources around that. And then every project should also pick a place to hang out, which by default that would be a channel in the Bitcoin Design Slack. So there are already 5 channels in there. For example, Designathon -BTC Pay would be for the BTC Pay project. So those are also linked to from the website. So anybody wanting to join a project, they can fill out the form, or they can just jump straight into this channel. That could also be on Telegram or somewhere else. But then you basically just show up and start participating, and it's as organizers, we try to help a little bit, make sure everything gets off to a good start. But it's also up to the teams then to kind of shape how they want to work together, what they want to achieve, how closely they want to collaborate, if they want to have want to set up calls and put them on the schedule or so. That's kind of up to the teams then to decide. But you can do all of this via the website. Just scroll down a little bit to projects, and it should be all in there. And a lot of this stuff we just set up in the last few days. I think the project functionality went live yesterday. So I'm assuming we'll have more activity happen. And if you look at some of the channels, like in the people started chatting in the Designathon-BTC Pay, there's already conversation. Designathon-Inheritance, there's some conversation. Looks like Gene already started. He showed a FigJam file with a few ideas. So yeah, I mean, we still have 2 weeks to go, but things are already starting to take shape, and anyone's really welcome to also join project or submit new ones if they'd like.
I really like this idea of getting people for the design one specifically, getting people forming teams around these things. And I think any designers listening who some of these things might like, some of these concepts or project ideas might be going over your head. At least you have someone to kind of like rely on and maybe even like learn from or learn together with that person about whichever topic. So if you want to learn about tarot, Christoph said he's going to be kind of part of the team, so you'll be learning from one of the best right there. But like, yeah, if you want to get involved in the BTC Pay server one, if you're interested in things like merchants or stuff like that, then just by participating in the Designathon, offering your help and stuff with the design process, you can also learn about these different topics that you might be interested.
And just to touch off what John's is saying, all sorts of skill sets are welcome. If you've never designed before, no problem. Christoph is going to be giving a bit of a Figma workshop, walkthrough through the UI kit. So there's going to be a UX research workshop. We might have one from Penpot as well. And we'll also be providing resources for people, where you can kind of learn Figma really quickly. You'll have access to the UX research toolkit. You'll have access also to the design sprint document as well. So you guys can sprint. And, I'm curious if all of the listeners, anyone is interested in particular on designing something or any particular topic. We have a whole bunch of people here. So feel free to raise your hand if you want to chat.
Yeah, and if someone wants to do a workshop or so, you also feel free to submit anything. I think the schedule will start filling up a little bit more over the next week. One project that was submitted, I also find pretty interesting. That's Saving Satoshi. That was submitted by Adam Jonas, and his idea, he puts a lot of emphasis and has a lot of interest in getting more developers into programming on Bitcoin coding. So his idea is to build a first point of contact for developers to learn Bitcoin programming. So it's like if you're familiar with Swift playgrounds or so, it would take you through a story, the history of Bitcoin, the kind of a fictional story based on the actual development of Bitcoin, and then along the way you would learn about go through different coding activities. So you learn about Bitcoin and you learn how to develop on and with Bitcoin at the same time. And it would start really basic and it would get a little bit more difficult over time. So the Designathon project there would be probably to figure out kind of the story and the UI for this whole thing, maybe create illustrations for it for different tasks and scenarios and scenes. Think of the game mechanics, whatever you'd be coded, whatever the people to interactive tutorials would be putting there together. And then this might be something where we end up with a prototype. And then afterwards, it might be a totally different project to actually put this together as a website. Really love to see something happening around that one. Another thing we have are prices. Just wanted to mention that real quick. We have a bunch of sponsors. We have one of them is here, and we have a bunch of prices, and those will also go live. So the top 5, 6 projects or so, there will be some judging happening and final presentations, and some prizes will be given away. So keep an eye out on the website for that one. I don't know, Mo. Should we talk more about prices, or I mean, they're not really meant to as a huge incentive, but more as a thank you for everyone for their effort.
Yeah, I think the beauty, I remember entering into the design space as a designer, UX designer with zero experience, and I entered a hackathon a while back, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's pretty much just an adrenaline rush, just getting everything together, getting everything organized, being creative, designing, and then, you get to put that in your portfolio. So in my opinion, that's also a little bit of a prize, because you get to show this work. So aside from the actual, monetary and gift prizes that we have, that's also a pretty big gift for the rest of your career, to be honest, to just jump in. You get to work with some really, there's some really interesting people you can get to work with. You can learn how to collaborate, which is really important, work as a team, and that's a really valuable skill to have as a designer if you're looking to enter the space.
I think the biggest prize is always going to be the friends that we make along the way.
Oh. Talking about friends we made along the way, Stephen, do you want to talk a little bit about TapConf, Builder Day, Design Community Table?
Yeah, sure. I could talk about that some. Yeah, so for anyone who's not aware, TabConf is the Atlanta Bitcoin Conference. It's October 12th through 15th. We're trying something a little bit different this year on the 12th. Instead of doing a hackathon, we are doing an event called Builder Day, which is just really more about encouraging people to get involved with open source Bitcoin projects. We love hackathons, but wanted to do an experiment with something different. And so we got a lot of different projects attending who will have their own tables, and they'll be running stuff at their tables all day. So, some people are going to be hacking on specific issues, kind of like in real life, we're going to, grind away and get some work done kind of thing. Other people will be focused more on onboarding new contributors to their communities. Just kind of depends. BDK, LDK, Fediment, all kinds of projects have tables there. I'm going to be running a Bitcoin design table since the Designathon that Christoph was talking about is happening, is kind of kicking off around that same time. I'm just going to focus the Bitcoin design table around getting people set up to join this event. So, I mean, this is a pretty casual event, but if you can make it to, if you're to Atlanta, we'd love to have you. And, I'll pretty much do, whatever people need to get set up. Like, I can do some Figma tutorials, workshops, show people how to use the Bitcoin UI kit, Bitcoin icons kit, talk through some of the project ideas, can get designing together. So it's kind of an open-ended, day. It's not really, a structured series of events so much as it's an invitation for people to come, collaborate and work on stuff in real life together.
Yeah, thanks for that. That's excellent. And John's, I think I'm looking at the Bolt Fun Legends of Lightning events page. There's also some other stuff happening, right? There, I see in Tel Aviv, there's Pleb TLV. They're also hosting some type of hackerspace. Is that right?
Yeah, that is right. I'm kind of losing track of some of these events. Let me just pull it up. But so there's potentially one event in Tel Aviv that's going to be going on. Similarly, there's a Pleb TLV They're that's Roy from Breeze is spearheading that. They're yeah, they're gonna be, you know, just discussing projects and stuff. I don't have full details on their schedules. What we've organized is basically a bunch of these satellite events. Or sorry, we haven't really organized them. Other people organize them, and it's kind of like how to say it? Yeah, these local events, local meetups, or even smaller hackathons that are happening, and they either try to like onboard people to the hackathon, or they help with mentorship and stuff. Another one that we have to add up there is Pleb Lab in what do you call it, in Austin, Texas. So if you're in that area, you'd be able to go in uh, uh, to some of the events that they're having around Legends of Lightning. What else? There's a Lightning Halloween in Italy, somewhere in Tuscany. So it's another hackathon that's happening, but they're kind of like attaching to our prize pool. So any projects coming out of there, they'll be able to submit. And what else is there? There's a yeah. There's probably going to be some event at adopting Bitcoin as well, because keep in mind this event is going from the 12th of October until the 28th of November. That's when the hacking stops, and throughout the whole thing, you're getting mentorships and there's different talks and stuff that are happening. You'll have chances to present your projects, to get feedback, etc., etc. Um, and I think in the same vein that you know, Stephen just mentioned there about like, yeah, hackathons are great and stuff, but what tends to happen a lot of these things is that the projects just kind of like die, and you know, people get together for that short period, and then it just like kind of like, you know, the motivation and stuff to continue kind of like fizzles out. So it's not necessary to obviously continue these projects, but we're hoping at least that some of the like quite cool things that we've seen in the past, or that people are working on, we hope we could help them be a little bit more sustainable if they want to, and carry on those projects. So there's like investors and stuff that you'll be able to talk to, or like Geyser dot fund. They're going to be presenting like helping projects figure out like crowdfunding if they don't want to go with like investment and stuff. But yeah, there's tons of events that are kind of like independent from the Legends of Lightning, but they're still kind of like affiliated in the way that we're bringing kind of like the communities together. And yeah, I heard something recently about like Bitcoin being a social network, and like we all have this kind of interest in Bitcoin, and um, you know, I'm still like thinking through the concept, but I thought that was an interesting way to put it, because you know, you're going to a certain conference, you're seeing some of the same faces and stuff. It's quite interesting. um yeah, but yeah, so we're just trying to like help coordinate people and stuff, not really um kind of like trying to plan everything ourselves.
I mean, that's one of the cool things, right? That it's this globally distributed, I guess, movement or whatever you want to call it, fan club, I guess, many fan clubs. Like Pav posted about a new Lightning app he came across, and looking into it, I think it was some from a small island in the Philippines or so. It's like things are popping out all over the place, and it's cool when they come together. John, what's this? You have a building for Africa track um, in the tournament. How did that come about, and how does it differ um, from the other
From the main
tracks?
track, yeah. Yeah, so there was gonna be another event, like another hackathon, pretty much same format as ours, by the folks from Afro Bitcoin Conference. It's gonna be, I think, the first Bitcoin conference in Ghana, and I'm not sure if I think the whole of the continent. And we're like, okay, well, you know, instead of like pulling people's attention in like multiple places, why don't you just kind of like, and like since we're doing kind of like a lot of these operations for this event anyway, getting speakers, judges, and whatnot, why not just kind of like combine our price pool? And this becomes a new track, the Build for Africa track. They're trying to kind of like foster this kind like a similar kind of community and or movement with folks in and out of Africa, I guess, but that are solving problems that are related to that specific region. And yeah, so we spent a little bit of time to try to figure out what what this format and structure is going to look like. And yeah, so if you're interested in like working on a specific solution for that caters to some local need in some African country or the continent in general, I don't know, then you can kind of like sign up to be part of that track. And your project will, like all tracks have both the global adoption and the Build for Africa track. They have pretty much the same sets of prizes. And those projects then get to um, uh, uh, get they get kind of like considered for the grand prize and the two runner up. So yeah, it's mostly about like building like local solutions. Um, and that's another thing that we're seeing happening as well. There's like these events. I think it kind of like started from and El Zonte and El Salvador, that El Salvador adopting Bitcoin conference. And then, maybe some of you know about the story about the Bitcoin Beach wallet and stuff. You started seeing that wallet and community start popping up like all different places, South Africa, different countries in in Africa, in South America, Latin America. And it's really cool to see, right? And then now there's like these conferences that are now popping up as well. These like localized conferences that are kind of like talking about like like the local problems that how Bitcoin could solve them and stuff. So I'm very very happy to see this kind of thing. For future events, we'll probably have like more local tracks. I think, as Christoph, I think we spoke about this in one of our one of our presentations sometime at some conference, but it's like although Bitcoin is this global money, this global monetary network and stuff. A lot of the solutions that are going to come up, some of them have to be local, right? They have to cater to some local needs, some difference in culture or language or whatever. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what kind of solutions come out of that track, especially. But
I
yeah.
oh, sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
No, that was it.
No, I really like it that you guys have an Africa track because I'm actually originally from South Africa, but been living in Europe for a couple of years now. But I can definitely see there being a need for such applications, but specifically made for the different African continents. So I'm really really glad that you guys are having a specific African track. And it'd be nice if you guys maybe have some participants, people with their feet on the ground, straight from Africa, taking part. That would be amazing. So yeah, really nice to hear that.
Yeah, of course. Tomorrow there's gonna be another Twitter Spaces. I'm gonna be doing it for Kuala, and the folks in the Afro Bitcoin conference. I just posted it on I don't know what you call this thing, but yeah, I just shared the link to the spaces that's gonna happen tomorrow. I really tried hard to have a build for India and a build for LATAM drag, but the exhaustion got me. So we'll do it for next. We'll save some stuff for the next one.
Yeah, well, the next one also has to be 5 times bigger, right?
Oh my gosh.
One of the what you mentioned earlier, different solutions for different languages and cultures and whatnot. And I was thinking about this a lot with Fediment. So I was talking to Pete at the conference and listening to the Fediment presentation. Is because so much of this is about different trust relationships. initially it was like, don't trust, verify, don't trust anyone, read the code yourself. And then certain things, even like with Galloy, you kind of have this community treasury and community wallet, and Fediment's a little bit different, where you have these guardians that people rely on. And one of my real things that I'm really curious how it will turn out with Fediment is which cultures this will resonate with. Because, for example, Germany, you have a very trusting culture. People look towards each other. People trust the government more so than in many other countries, probably also because it's just worked out better for them. If you people are more comfortable leaving their bikes outside and all kinds of stuff. And in other countries, based on cultural situation, economic situation, history, and whatnot, people just don't trust each other. They will never. They're just much more careful, or they've realized that they cannot trust society, but everything's around family and whatnot. So it's for me, it's going to be really. I'm really curious to see how these different trust solution and approaches to trusting each other with money and managing money will pan out in different uh, countries and parts of the world. And I think that's where we also need a lot of diversity and a lot of different ideas, and they all have to be super well executed, because replacing some human trust-based societal setup that's worked for 2,000 years, just updating that to cryptography and, and smartphones, it's kind of a stretch in some ways. So we have our work cut out.
Yeah, I saw something today, and I think it's a good example of a kind of like a local solution. Apparently, Bitnob has some integration with M-Pesa. I don't know how deep that collaboration is, but Bitnob is a wallet or a Bitcoin company out of Nigeria, and M-Pesa is um, a mobile you call it mobile money provider in Kenya. They kind of like pioneered this USSD based like money transfer where you use airtime on your phone, or something like airtime. Actually, it's a separate wallet on your phone to be able to pay people. So these are like USSD. I can't remember what it means. The acronym, I'm gonna butcher it, but essentially, you type something like star 123 star, and then like the person's phone number, and then star, then the amount, and then like hash, and then you're able to send someone money using this M-Pesa kind of system. There's other companies like MTN and Airtel, etc., that do this in different African countries. But now apparently you're able to make lightning payments with this system. Somewhat, I don't know the full details of it, but this is a kind of thing that's like very localized for like a few countries and stuff. It's a infrastructure that exists there with millions of people using it. So this is potentially what a local solution could look like, and it kind of requires some some insights into like how things are operating there and what kind of problems people may be facing. Like obviously this is probably going to be custodial, but how do you kind of like onboard these new people who don't have smartphones, or don't have the funds to buy a hardware wallet even. Uh, yeah. So I think that's an interesting kind of like lens to look at things.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a little bit difficult sometimes, trying to figure out with the Bitcoin design community and Bitcoin and design guy kind of what to do next, what to focus on, because you always have to assume that these local solutions will work better, but you cannot assume that everyone's problems around the world. So it's always best when people bring in problems and challenges that they have, and ways and ideas of how they'd like to do things, and then kind of the community can rally around them and help them make that happen. But yeah, it's super diverse out there, and I think
Um,
that's where those local events are also super crucial.
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of events, the Bitcoin Amsterdam, I know myself and Christoph will be there. I think I saw Pav being announced as a speaker at Bitcoin Amsterdam, so I think he's going to be there as well. Not sure if anyone else is going, but looking forward to meeting you guys there. We'll be, I think, Christoph and I will be spending half of the day actually in the conference itself and the other half in the Designathon. So it's going to be a very fun, busy time meeting people and yeah, looking forward to meeting you guys in person.
Yeah, it's October 12th. Bitcoin Amsterdam starts the same day that the Designathon begins and the tournament begins. So it'll be probably just kickoff calls all day long. Should be a good time.
Traveling all the way to Amsterdam to get on a call. That nice.
Exactly.
I see we also have someone else from the Netherlands over here, Eldert. So would be nice to see you there as well, Eldert, if you happen to be going to the Bitcoin Design conference in Amsterdam.
Yeah, and is it like a meetup that's going to be happening, or is it like meeting within the venue? What's the deal going to be there?
We have nothing planned. We're just going to meet up and maybe we'll take over a room, kick out everyone else, and just turn it into a
Start
Bitcoin design room.
Started handing out stickers for the Designathon, handing out some Vault Legends of Lightning stickers.
Oh my god, I need to do stickers.
We need to do stickers. We haven't designed anything yet. Maybe Stephen can can help out with that.
Yeah, Stephen was a sticker guy at in Miami.
No, there's still time. Redbubble will still deliver them before the event.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, I've got like a ton of stickers over here, so if you, I mean, if we can figure out shipping, I can get some over to you.
Yeah, we should figure that out, Mo, this
We
week.
should probably start get on those sticker designs as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, if you need help with it, just slide into my DMs and just bug the heck out of me.
I think I will be sliding into your DMs first thing tomorrow, Stephen.
Cool.
Well, we're at it. We should also make when Taproot stickers. You had these awesome rabbits on the website, whentaproot.org. Those would also make for some good stickers.
We're doing Win Taproot stick and poke tattoos.
Yeah, so we have about 5 minutes till the hour. We're kind of just casually chatting right now. Um, Anything else that you guys wanna chit chat? I mean, generally, events.bitcoin.design. If you wanna catch up, take a peek around, submit ideas, join projects. You can also just register generally. Um, you can also just decide to peek in to some of the projects, follow along if you'd like. Keep an eye out for more projects being announced, schedule being updated, the prices. Um, should be pretty cool. And so the four speakers here, we're just going to keep planning and organizing. And if you'd like to help, I think everyone is also happy if you're interested in helping organize some of the events, whether it's just spreading the word or helping out participants on board, or I don't know, well, whatever you'd like to help with. If you'd like to, the doors are open, I believe, right? Or Stephen, do you not like help?
Could you repeat the question?
Do you not like help?
Do I not like help? I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Would you like helpers? People volunteering for TapCon?
Yeah. We have. I mean, depends on what you mean by that, but we have, a conference volunteer program where, you get in for free if you contribute to work a couple of volunteer shifts, and then also generally for Builder Day, if you'd like to come help out at the Bitcoin design table, whether that's sharing your design experience, or sharing your Bitcoin knowledge or whatever, that'd be appreciated too.
Or sharing your Bitcoin. that could also be a thing.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to share your Bitcoin with me, that would also be very much appreciated.
Um, yeah, I think like we need to get the word out about this designathon a bit more. Um, Hopefully we could use that to like attract people outside of the community as well. Because I think it's something really cool. Again, like typically hackathons are all about developers. Um, I haven't really heard too much about design based events like this. Yeah, I hope you guys could appreciate all the work that everyone's doing in that. Christoph, Mo, Stephen, um, Doc, everyone else. Um, so yeah, it's going to be a very interesting event, and like I hope we could do more of this, and the support that you guys give on this can kind of can go a long way, and of course participation. We have this community to push the adoption of Bitcoin. That's going to need good designers. It's going to need people, people solving local and global problems using their skills. And yeah, we have this right now. If you want to learn about these various projects, it's going to be a really fun environment, I think. So spread the word and attend.
Yes, please. And you just said something about fun environment. Just wanted to one comment.
Oh, sorry, it's not
The
fun.
no. I was thinking. I listen to podcasts like Bitcoin podcasts, random stuff, sometimes technical, sometimes just other things, just kind of follow along. And recently, I was listening. It was some influencer people talking about toxicity and Bitcoin toxic culture and whatnot. And the weird thing is that I feel like people talk about that on Twitter, but whenever I've been to a meetup or a conference, the people are the nicest people. They're just so nice and so interested and interesting and fun to hang out with. And I'm like, what's going on there? So I mean, if anyone's concerned about toxic maximalism or any of that stuff, I don't know. I personally feel like that's just a myth. So I think these events, you can just hang out, you can show up, just have a good time.
Are you
And
saying that toxic maximalism is a psyop?
Yeah, I think it's some George Soros, I don't know, whatever conspiracy theory you like, they're behind it.
Well, I love it.
also just to touch on the participation part, which Christoph was just talking about, is the Designathon. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it from the 12th to the 23rd? Um, and you're free to, we fully understand that everyone probably has full-time jobs. You guys have lives. You have a lot of things going. So you're free to just do it over a weekend, commit an hour a day, commit 3 hours a day. If you want to sit 10 hours behind your computer, also possible. But it's your participation is completely dependent on you and what you want to put into it. There's no fixed participation hours that you need to put in, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And now we're at the hour, so let's try to wrap this one up. Thanks to all who hung out here. I hope we'll get to hang out in the next few weeks at one of these different events we talked about. There really is a lot going on. My experience was that sometimes like all the events happen at once, and afterwards it's just really quiet for a long time. So definitely take advantage of these things coming up. Because they're pretty awesome. Any other last words from anyone here, or any questions from the audience?
Well, I think you're pretty awesome yourself.
I'm sorry, I could not hear you. Can you say that again, maybe a little bit louder?
Beep, beep, beep.
Nice.
Oh my
Goofball.
goodness.
Goofball. All right, cool. Then let's wrap it up. Thank you all. You're the best. And let's have a good Designathon tournament, TapConf, and other things.
Who's the best?
Only you.
Okay. Take care, everyone. Thank you. Looking forward to see everyone at the Designathon. It's gonna be fun.
Later.
Let's
Bye
do it.
bye. Cheers.
Ciao.
Bye.
See you all.